Hello, and welcome back to Deep Dive with Dimples, where we talk about shows and movies, the full breakdown, just my opinion on how I feel about the show or movie. This is going to include a little bit of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go ahead and bookmark this video and then come back once you're finished. I'm going to assume that you've already clicked out. If you haven't seen it, you don't want any spoilers. So, going into the show. In the show, you have the typical girl and two boys, kind of like love triangles. So, you have Belly, Conrad, and you have Jeremiah. They both clearly love Belly. They're pretty much like raised together. Their mom is they're best friends from college. And so you do have like that prior history from the parents, and then you have the now current history. So you have this relationship between the three. And so they're raised almost like a brother sister type of thing. And then it kind of evolves into something much stronger. I enjoy like the character development throughout each of these like episodes, getting to know Conrad and seeing how he became so dismissive and so upset, because he really peeped a lot of the stuff that Jeremiah hadn't really noticed. Jeremiah was more like, yeah, I'm gonna continue to party, woohoo, until like kind of reality settled in. And Belly was just like, she was there throughout, you know, all their trials and tribulations, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I mean, I like how they were all, again, raised like brother and sister until stronger feelings came into place. And I hate how it's like in this love triangle, there was obviously some extra activities going on, and then Belly ended up messing with Conrad, and then from Conrad she was messing with Jeremiah, and then to realize that, oh, I really kind of love Conrad, which she already knew that all along. So it has me like, so did you just have to see what one was like to see which one was better? Like what? So I do understand like how they're trying to show like you as someone who loses their, card to someone that they've feel so deeply about. I could see how, you really don't ever get over that person. But I do think that there's throughout each of the episodes into seasons, you see that there's a lot of like what's going on. He definitely plays in her face. They both do. I feel like there was one specific part that I'm gonna bring up is when Jeremiah and Belly got into this argument, and Jeremiah knew that Belly had spent Christmas with Conrad. This was after their breakup, and she pretty much withheld the information. So there's that controversy of, oh, she lied, and then she sees it as, I just didn't tell you, I withheld that information. So, that always puts me in a rabbit hole. I can never agree with one side. Um, but because he had knew that prior information, he picked a fight prior to, I believe it was like a spring break event, and they were all going to Cabo, to Mexico. And he picked a fight purposely knowing, because of that prior information, and Belly didn't know that he knew. And so he just picked a fight. They broke up, and then he was intimate with some girl twice. And I was like, okay, but that seems a bit intentional, because who does that? You're saying that you didn't mean to be intimate with someone, but then you purposely picked a fight, went on this trip, and not only were you intimate once, you were intimate twice with this same female. And the only reason Belly found out is because the chick was wasted, and her friend and her were talking about it while waiting to go to the bathroom. They were in the bathroom line. So really, it's like almost like she wasn't even gonna know about it unless he had said something. And it clearly looked like he wasn't even going to say anything at all. And then that transpired into something much larger. So That whole scene situation, that pissed me off. It pissed me off at Jeremiah because it's like, instead of the adult thing to do, instead of picking a fight, would have been to, okay, let's have this conversation. I found out that you actually spent Christmas with Conrad. Are you having feelings for him? Or do you still want to try to see where our relationship will go? You get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense, him just picking a fight. I feel like that's petty. And then for you to say that you didn't intentionally cheat, technically you did, because you had prior knowledge and then decided to pick the fight anyway. But ultimately, I think that it's a good. Sorry, you're gonna hear fireworks. It's the 4th. Woohoo! Ultimately, I do think it's a really good show. It draws you in really good. I was hooked on phonics with this thing. It was just so good. So if I do have to rate this show and scale from 1 to 10, it would be like a strong 9, almost 10. The only reason I would say that is because there are some potential areas, of course, that they could have maybe storytelled a little bit better, maybe even more about the history behind Belly's mom, and also the history between them being in college. Yeah, they show like different peekaboos, but there's always that tension also when they do kind of side focus from Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, where it goes to her mom. And so I would have liked to know more about, the history between Belly's mom and dad and why they're the way they are and in that situation, because her mom was kind of like salty about any type of relationship that Belly wanted to get in. And anytime she made some type of comment, she was like, oh, you need to have fun. But then when she saw her committing, it became kind of the issue. And so it's a lot of that I feel like that could have been like brought out more, which is why I rate it like a high 9. But other than that, I think it is a really good show, and definitely try it out. It is binge worthy, especially if you like teen romance, comedy, and it's something you could definitely relate to. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and press all the buttons on the side. Please and thank you. And I'll see you in my next video.